All right. So we're starting with Brooke?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Greer. All right, good. Let's talk through some things, obviously, because this is a lesson. Do you have much of this memorized at all?
Yeah.
Some, here, there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, why don't we just kind of start there? Where was it? This thing.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just kind of start at the back and sort of work our way towards the front, because it's very easy to start at the front. You probably played it a million times. So this thing, do you know what's going on in the orchestra? Okay, so what's happening is the strings are going da-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum, right? So they've got that kind of main melody thing, and you want to kind of pull them along through all of this and ride along the top. They're still following you, and this actually needs to be sort of, and it says forte pesante, so yes, it's going to be a little bit heavy. Right now it feels just sort of like you're going through it, and it's phrased as if one was phrasing something in a sonata that wasn't going to require kind of a bigger sound. Why don't you start there one more time, and we'll just kind of work with it a little bit. Do you have it memorized?
Yeah.
A little bit? Okay, try it by memory once. And watch it go. One more time. Go ahead. So, the one place I'm feeling like it's losing just a little bit of direction, you're doing a lovely job in this fortissimo spot, right? All of this actually needs to be very, very, very fluid, and for this, B flat. It needs to be sung all the way through. So try to avoid give it a try. Sustain, sustain, sustain. Yeah, see for the little top spot. Once more. Now, if you're trying to feel it, even if you're sustaining through, psychologically and physically, you're still going to be feeling this. The orchestra's going da-dum, so for this whole section, they're trying to feel like it's one big beat and an even longer phrase. Okay? So, I want you to try and feel one big long phrase. Good. One more time. Got it almost memorized now? Mm-hmm. Guess we're going to find out. Go ahead. Good. Okay. Now, let's talk about sound quality. Obviously, you probably know there's 3 things you can do to, well, actually there's 4 or 5, but there's 3 main things you can do with the bow to change the quality of sound that you're getting. Mm-hmm. Name a few.
Where it is between the bridge.
Sounding point, that's right.
Flat hair, like.
I'll put that in sort of a subcategory.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Okay. How much? The
bow speed?
bow speed, yeah.
Yeah.
The weight.
And pressure, right. Sounding point, bow speed, pressure. Yes, there's also flat hair. Vibrato is a component of this as well, obviously. Yeah, so watch your bow this time, and I want you to take really, really careful stock of exactly what's happening in a slightly more microcosmic kind of way. Just da-da-da-da-da-da, that's fine. Okay, once more. That's already better. So what did you change? You know? You made an adjustment. Your sounding point was floating kind of back and forth. It has to do with the fact that you're trying to use a lot of bow, which is excellent. You need to. Okay? Instead of pulling quah and then pushing quah and that kind of thing, you want to use as much bow as you possibly can, right? As close to the bridge as you can get it, with just enough pressure, so that you're still getting the entire thing to ring, but it's not sort of holding you up. Once more, try and keep that bow closer to the bridge, and just give it a try. Okay, can you see it wobbling back and forth? And the hissing sound is coming from too close to the bridge. Once again, the entrance of the cat. Sorry. All right, go ahead. Right. Now, I want you to try and de-emphasize all the bow changes as much as you can. So you're feeling ya-da-da-da. Do about 3/4 speed. Once more. Now, I'm getting slightly picky here. It's good. On the bow changes, that's where you're getting a little bit of a hitch. Make sure that you're lifting over the frog, and see if you can carry the bow a little farther along. Go ahead. Once more, you keep shorting it 1. Go ahead. Right. Okay. Can you hear a difference? Okay. What's the difference?
Sounds more open and more connected.
More connected for sure. That's the easy one because that's what we were working on. I'm hearing more of your violin vibrating in general. Before, with the sounding point moving in and out and the sort of clipping of ya da 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 da. It keeps vacillating between having the whole instrument vibrating and just part of it. Why don't you go back and try the beginning of this phrase once more? And pesante means what? Okay, pesante, I'll sort of give it just a general, it can mean several things. Oh, thank you. It can mean several things. Basically, it means just a little bit more weighted, right? And a little bit slower, and just kind of a little bit more emphasis on each note. Not in a way that's going to crush that moving line, right? But just sinking in. Go ahead. It already sounds more virtuosic to me. And you look more comfortable playing it. Now the one thing with this phrase, da 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 da, I'll make a deal. If you phrase all the way to the top, I will never sing it to you again, because my voice is horrible, okay? You're losing it on the E string when you're going up, and I think it's because you're trying to control the left hand. Your left hand's fine.
Okay.
So just disconnect your brain from that and focus on the right hand. Okay, not that much, but anyways, that's already better, okay? Now, just one more little thing before we go. One of the things, I've played this with orchestra on a number of different occasions, and this range down here tends to be not the greatest for the violin, right? If you want to maintain that sort of energy level, I know this is a decrescendo, kind of. I mean, you're still driving the whole orchestra forward, right? A soloistic decrescendo that maybe shouldn't quite be, you know, parentheses sort of thing. So you played Chartish. You know that opening, the da 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 da, that very, very rich kind of bass sound? You want to try and simulate that even though you're still on the D string. So still very, very connected. Forget the decrescendo for right now. And keep your vibrato going. And just try and enjoy that tenor bass sound. So we got this high, 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 high soprano, blah, 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 blah. No offense, bro. You know what I mean? And then it goes all the way down, and you can have, and it's this rich sort of baritone voice.
Alright,
okay?
so should I start from?
Same thing one more time. Right, that's already better. Can you make your vibrato just a touch bigger? That kind of sound. The vibrato will keep the interest in the sound.
Oh wait.
You can start right on it. Just when you forget the pickup note, just start right on the third finger. Once more. And sustain, despite what the bowing is. Now the last thing, play it by memory, watch that sounding point. Okay, that's gone from like sort of wah 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 wah, little orchestra-y. That sounds like soloist to me. Okay, can you hear the core to the sound? Generally, like in anytime you're playing solo music, with a few exceptions, and that's what's lovely about this movement, is it gives a couple of opportunities. You never want to have an unfocused sound. Closer to the bridge, right? A little more bow speed than maybe you're used to. So you're really starting to push what the violin's going to be able to do. But you should hear that focused sound with this huge corona of overtones around it, okay? And sounding point will be critical to that. Now, this thing, that is marked piano. Sforzando on that note. That needs to feel like a giant pickup. And right now I'm sort of seeing this. Right? Again, it's a little bit like sitting in a section and trying to make sure that everybody's arriving in the right place. What the orchestra's going to want to see from you is something to the effect of... Okay? So, big Q, and the momentum will help really place that note. Start right there. Yes. Once more. Now on these, this is actually a spot. You actually can sort of clip that first note, the second note, before it gets super legato. Right. Once more, and take charge of the orchestra. Don't ever, ever, ever let a conductor dictate unless there's a very, very good reason where you're putting anything in a solo, okay? I shouldn't say that. That's unfair. In the event that you're playing with an orchestra that's not the New York Phil, ensure that you're the one in command unless they need an entrance, okay? Yeah, and I love that sound where you're getting closer to the bridge. One more time. It might sound a little hissy. It's better to kind of be there and back off that much. Because little adjustments, I mean, for sounding point, that's all you get. What is it? 2.5 inches, 3 inches? That is the full spectrum of what you can do with your sounding point. So it's a question of that much. Bow speed, you've got like all of that. So it's like multiple orders of magnitude more that you can deal with there. Okay? So these little figures, there's many different approaches to this. It looks like you're trying to sort of control your left hand and control your bow very carefully. Totally respect. Okay, I understand where you're coming from. Now, don't take this the wrong way. What you sort of need to do, and you'll hear this in a lot of recordings of even very good soloists, worry far less about the left hand and concentrate on the bow. Over time, as you kind of practice this way, oh, sorry, my bad. You just whip through those things. And the way is just trust your left hand, just let it go. Put your fingers down the way you want them to feel when they go down, not the way that you're trying to force them to do something that they're not inclined to do.
Okay.
And whip this thing. Yeah. With some vibrato. Go ahead. No, that's the right idea. That you can work with. Okay? The only thing that made it a big deal is you went, eh.
Yeah.
But it was the bow, it wasn't the left hand. One more time. Right. Now the second one's a little trickier, right? Do that once more, and you want to feel bum, ba-dum, ba-dum. And the vibrato you're getting on this is excellent. This note needs to be sustained a little bit longer. Make sure you're getting a real collection of oscillations. Right. All right, so we'll move on. I'll have you play just one more time, and then we'll move on. Can't you just rip through this thing once?
Yeah. Wait, which part? That part?
No. That thing we just played. Okay. Oh. I'll put this in context. Have you heard somebody tell you? Old TG used to tell me this. Care but don't care. Have you heard this phrase before?
Yeah.
It used to annoy the heck out of me. Do you know what that means?
No.
Right.
No.
It's like, Ben, you have to try but don't try. And I'm just like, I'm going to go with try, because I've got to make money at this someday. I think my impression over a long period of time of what that means is it's a psychological dynamic, in the sense that, yes, you practice, right? You want these things to happen. You have to go for them. But you can't let that affect the fact that this is all going to need to stay relaxed. It was already very, very clean, very much cleaner, and already going all the way through when you just let your fingers go. So you have to, particularly in a performance, just divorce yourself from the idea that you're going to be able to totally control this thing, and just go. So the care is putting in your best effort to stay focused and concentrated. The don't care is release yourself from the responsibility of having to physically control everything in the moment. Do you understand the difference? Mm-hmm. Best quote I ever heard was from Bill Pruso, concertmaster of the Cleveland Orchestra. He said, "I don't care if I miss notes." It's also really good, so he doesn't miss a whole lot of them. But when he does, he just lets it go. It can't be like a nuclear weapon going off in your head. Mm-hmm. All right, so try it once more, and just tear through it, okay?
Okay.
And don't worry about your left hand. Go ahead. Okay, not bad. If you sort of practice it that way, practice it like 3/4 speed, and just get used to that feeling. I think that'll make this section so much less of a big deal. Okay. Are you pretty stressed about it, usually when you get to it?
Yeah.
Yep. I can hear it in your sound. That's already like way better. Okay, this thing. Let's just spend a touch of time on it, and then I want to hit some of this as well, and maybe talk about some basics.
Okay.
So this is a fundamentally different feeling than this. Mm-hmm. Okay? It's like the beginning, but it's a little bit more of this sort of welling up. So it's very, very sustained, 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 sustained. But this forte needs to just be singing over the top, not something that, okay, we've arrived, save the bow, and please don't run out. All right? Mm-hmm. Start right there, just give it a try, and then we'll work with it a little bit. And you don't have to worry about getting to here, because we won't.
Okay.
You're a little tentative starting this. Again, the orchestra's going to need, what they're going to want to hear is your sound starting and then leading them along. You can actually tell them exactly what the rhythm is on a note that is an entire bar with no changes, just by the quality of your crescendo. Okay? So when you're starting, breathe in a way that actually physically moves you slightly as opposed to, okay? This way. And it's okay to give just a little bit of a lean. And just let your bow go through these notes. It's still singing, singing, singing. This is where it diffuses a little. Mm-hmm. Okay? Once more. Okay. I saw your violin move. I didn't get a sense of an intake of breath. Now, I'm not saying, you probably heard a lot of people say, I want to hear the breath. It needs to be audible. It needs to be this and that and whatever. Right? Mm-hmm. That's sort of just a trick to get people to breathe. Imagine that you're going to sing it. I don't have to hear it, but I can tell the difference between your violin going up and down and your lungs expanding. Mm-hmm. Okay? Just take a breath right now. That looked like you were smelling something delightful, like muffins or something. Stand up straight. Okay, once more. Deep breath. One more time, a little bit more confident as if you were about to sing. Okay, once more. Feel the air going into your sinuses and your chest expanding just a little bit. Okay, that's as hippie as I'm going to get with this. Okay, so breathe like that. If you do that, the violin's going to move itself because your chest is going to be expanding. All right? Play. Okay, give it a try. Okay. What was the difference in the sound quality when you started?
There's more presence to it?
Way more presence, and your bow was moving, so the first part of it didn't sound like, sort of the violinist who's trying not to run out of bow. Mm-hmm. Okay? Now the trick is obviously to have the confidence to sort of carry this through, and when you're practicing it, practice leading these things in. Okay? And I loved what you did with this. I think a little bit of just work on that at home and getting that sense of it. Listen to a few recordings. That's going to carry a lot of that forward. Okay, now, what is the difference in the character between this and this?
Well, I feel like the second determined to go somewhere, and this
Yes.
is just like the open.
Yeah, the orchestra is just holding these long notes. Okay, so it's going to carry the entire thing for you're just. I mean, it's like nothing, and you're just sitting on top of this, playing something beautiful, and it can be a little quieter, and the audience is going to be sort of leaning forward just a little bit, not to hear you, but just because it's intimate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this goes to there. So each one of these bows is dictating a harmony change. What's the orchestra doing here?
Just hold it.
No. Right? So I'm going to play the orchestra part right here. You get 2 bars, and when you come in, again, it's that feeling of horizontal, not stable. If that makes sense. So here we go. Don't play the first note. And 1, 2, 3. Join. Good. Now I totally played the wrong notes because I haven't played the orchestra part of this in a long time. So why don't you finish this last phrase? Right here, ya da 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 da, just waiting on the harmony. Da 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 da. And if you're doing it in a really sophisticated way, it slightly speeds up. Slightly, in a way that I almost don't want to say it. Okay? So just go ahead and start from right there. No rush. And join us. Anytime. Once more.
Yep.
Da-da-da-da. 2, 3, 1. Play right through this. There's actually no articulation. Da, 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 da. It's interrupting the phrase. Down. Good. The sound already has freed up quite a bit. It feels much, much more comfortable, much looser, and it's sustaining through all of this as well. Now play the opening. And the orchestra, take a look. It's even written in for you. They're just waiting. And I love how the word attacca is written like there, right there, because attacking is like the least accurate thing. It would have been very something in German to the effect of, go on, sort of demurely. Probably would have been a little more relevant to the sense of the thing. Okay? Go ahead. Lovely. Don't rush. Sing, sustain, push. Sustain and sinking. Now release it. Good. Now we're going to go on to here and see if you can change the character, and then we'll be done. Lovely. That's really excellent. And your sound quality has improved so much. You know what's amazing, the older I get, the more I sort of, when I'm playing through a piece sort of as a whole, you can almost, I would say you can completely define the entire piece just in terms of concepts of bow speed. It's kind of amazing. Mm-hmm. You know, those big picture elements. Anyways, do you have any questions?
No, that's...
Woo. All right. Thanks a lot. Sounds good. Last thing they're going to see is my face hitting this recording button. So, there we go.